It is the place where we liberate you from the chaos of working in your business. You've reached the Business on Purpose podcast, the Business on Purpose platform. My name's Scott Beebe, the founder and the head coach of the Business on Purpose platform. And these next few podcasts are going to be really, really special. We do this on a regular basis down in the low country of South Carolina, where our geographical headquarters is. Our online headquarters is at mybusinessonpurpose.com, but we have the privilege of being able to serve small business owners, both locally and around the world. And locally, about every 3 months or so, we host an event, and we just provide it locally for our clients, the ones we get the privilege of being able to serve here in the low country, either with a lunch or, at the time of this recording, we just finished a half-day mid-year workshop where we really focused in on this one idea of what it means to be a heroic leader. And it wasn't just for the business owners we serve, but also for their key leaders. So we had a room full of about 40 people, all here in the low country of South Carolina, and it was a delightful time. And so you're going to hear a few sessions. I will be presenting in the first couple of sessions, and then you're going to hear a guy by the name of Jesse Cole. He is the co-owner with his wife of the Savannah Bananas, a minor league baseball team in Savannah, Georgia, and also the Gastonia Growl, a minor league baseball team in Gastonia right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I promise you want to hear what he has to say. Just remember this: fans first, entertain always, and your mind will be blown by the stories he shares. And I think it'll be really, really impactful. I know it will be incredibly impactful with these stories that he shares. And you'll want to hear and take these next few podcasts really as leadership training. So you listen for yourself, pass it around to your team. And we're delighted to be able to share this with you from our time in the Heroic Leadership Half-Day Workshop for the Business on Purpose clients, and we're delighted to have you be able to join in. And listen, if you need support in being liberated from the chaos of working in your business, let us know, mybusinessonpurpose.com, or just go to 4stepstobusinessfreedom.com. It's all spelled out, 4stepstobusinessfreedom.com, and you can check out there how we might be able to serve you. All right, dive in. Here you go. Hope you enjoy this session of this series of heroic leadership entitled We Need You to Lead. Enjoy this second session.
So we've met our hero, and we want our hero to transform from a mindset of, I just working to live, I'll just do my job, all that. We want to see the hero come out of that. And so now, in the form of Batman, that's why I chose Batman, is because of the call, right? The clear call, that spotlight that comes up. Now what we want is we want our hero to receive a call. But when they receive the call, what we're actually asking them to do is get out of the grind. So remember, they were in a world of repetition. Do this, and quite frankly, they like it. Because it's predictable. And so the repetition, if I do something that's repetitious, by default, I'm safe. Or there's a perceived safety. And the perception of safety trumps progress. And so when we feel safe, that's usually what prohibits us from moving forward. That's why, and I'm not looking to constantly agitate things, but at the same time, good progress, healthy progress, that's why we got to have the vision in place. It's funny, Jesse and I were just talking, so his whole mindset, his theme is fans first. I think all of you guys I've talked to about the book by Mike Michalowicz called Profit First, and a lot of you have actually shifted your entire accounting structure to that. So Jesse and Mike have gotten to know each other pretty well. In fact, Michalowicz was down at a Bananas game a few weeks ago. And so his book is Profit First. Jesse's whole theme and mindset is fans first. I disagree with them all. I think it's vision first. But that's why vision is such a priority. It's because vision is what's going to pull us out there so that our action, our proactivity is not willy-nilly. It's not haphazard. And so the people who like the safety and the comfort can continue to feel kind of safe and comfortable because they realize they're going to that point over there and not just random places where these directional forces take over. So when we get into the default of the grind, when we meet our hero, if they're just in that repetitious mindset, let me tell you what that leads to. It leads to a mindset of reaction. And what reaction does is it actually reveals your lack of preparation. When you, boom, react to something, what it tells us is that you did not prepare for the response of whatever that something was. Classic example was me in college football. Jarek spent 10 years preparing for college football. So when he saw 4 guys that weighed on average 295 pounds, it was a great idea for him to run straight through those guys. Like, that made tons of sense to him. For me, because I had 6 months of preparation, when I saw 4 guys, I offered to do their laundry. Just said, hey guys, just don't be mad at me, right? I didn't know how to react to that situation. So I reacted in a way that wasn't appropriate to the game. Jarek responded in a way that was appropriate to the timing of the game and made sense. And so when we find our hero, he's in that, or she's in that mindset of default, of grind, of rinse, repeat. But in that world, all you ever do is react and you don't respond. And the reaction usually means a lack of implementation. The second thing you do, especially if you're in a leadership position, is you're prone to micromanagement. I hate micromanagement. You hate micromanagement. We all hate micromanagement. What is micromanagement? All of you I've talked to about the seesaw of predictability. Predictable question, predictable time. If you ask an unpredictable question at a predictable time, feels like micromanagement. Unpredictable question, hey, can you give me the sales figures from 8 years ago? But you ask it in our team meeting, predictable time. That feels like micromanagement to me. You're expecting something of me that I wasn't ready for. Flip the seesaw. Unpredictable time, but a predictable question. Hey, do you have yesterday's sales numbers? But you asked me Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Unpredictable time, predictable question. That feels like micromanagement to me. But predictability asks predictable questions at predictable times. So anytime you feel like somebody's micromanaging you, run it through that filtration system. Are they asking me a predictable question at a predictable time? If we're in our team meeting, we pull up the action item sheet, and on the action item sheet it says, get last week's sales number, and the leader of the meeting says, hey, do you have last week's sales numbers? That should not feel like micromanagement. That should feel like good, healthy leadership. Because what's the number one gripe of team meetings? We never get anything done. We never get anything done. And so the replicability, the predictability is what we're going for. The third kind of degree of somebody who's caught in that grind, our hero that's in the grind that we've got to get out, is when you're in that motion of rinse and repeat, living to or working to live and all of that kind of stuff, is you start doing average work. I just got back from a land where everybody's doing average work. And you know what? It's not fun. The people are bright and exciting. They smile. But none of you would want to live in their structures because they do average work. When I come and I go through to get my luggage, and I've checked my luggage in, and I run upstairs and I put my other bag in, and I realize a souvenir corkscrew from Switzerland is still in the bag. Dang it. And the guy upstairs says politely, would you like to check that? And a lady who's highly, highly attractive, who I happen to share a house with and kids and all of that, and she says, yes, we would like to check that. And I'm going, oh, okay. I'd be delighted to check that. So I take the wooden souvenir corkscrew and I go downstairs. And instead of being met with, we'll find a way, you know what I'm met with? No. No. Or when you pay for a seat on a United Airlines flight and they drag you off the plane. That's average work. That's crappy work. When we find our hero, you know what they're doing? Average work. You know what average work inspires? Nothing. Nothing. And you know what nothing gets us? No progress. And you know what no progress gets us? Vision is worthless at that point. And what happens where there is no vision? People scatter. You've got to make a commitment. The reason we need you to lead is because we're tired of average work. We want work that's spectacular. We want work that moves the needle. We want work that moves people, that serves people, that changes people's lives. And when we do average work, when we find our hero reacting because of a lack of preparation, when we find our hero doing things that are totally unpredictable, and living in a world of micromanagement and dictatorship, when we find our hero and they're doing average work, it does not move the needle. And we need the needle to be moved. So heroic leadership transfers our hero from common, average, micromanaging, reactionary mindset into someone who moves into the mind of a leader, a coach, and somebody who does great work. And so what is leadership? Leadership is really nothing more than seeing what other people cannot see and inspiring and motivating them to get there. That's what leadership is. It's looking out and going, my goodness, I realize that you feel very at home in this pit of mud that you're spinning around in, but I've got something so much better. And they're like, no, I feel good. I feel comfortable. I know, but you're filthy. And you're doing average work. And you've been created to do something different. And so I want to take you there. That's what leadership is. It's seeing what somebody else cannot see, not in a spirit of arrogance, but in a spirit of compassion, in a spirit of love, to go, I want to serve you, and I see something that you can't see. Isn't that what parenting is, by the way? The 2-year-old's comfortable sitting in their literal crap in their diaper, and you're like, I've got something better for you. Let's take that off and put this on. It's the same thing with leadership. The second thing is you not only become in this transformation into a leader, but you become a coach. You become a coach. I have been not last few months. Coach. You business owners, coach. Folks that are leading leadership team meetings, coaching. Department heads, managers, you got to start coaching. So what's a coach? How's that different from a leader? Well, a leader generally is somebody who sees something out there, realizes that you could benefit from it, and motivates, inspires you, and shows you how to get there. A coach, I want you to think about this. So think about a head coach. Think about Nick Saban. I just recently read this about Nick Saban in that book, The Obstacle is the Way. Nick Saban has something he refers to that he calls the process. And in the process, he stands up in front of his team multiple times throughout the years, and he says, I do not want you to focus on the SEC championship. I do not want you to focus on the national championship. What I want you to focus on is the next play, the next film room, the next workout, and I want you to finish it. That's what I want you to focus on. What a coach does is a coach, she not only leads, but a coach sits back and studies the game. Let me look at the whole game here. Let me study the game. Let me study the team. Let me go back and game plan, strategy, right? Is the game plan this week the same as next week? No, that's strategy, remember? What works today doesn't work next week. So you have to constantly be in a mindset of shifting strategy, but the vision's the same. So Nick Saban's vision has both a macro vision and a micro vision. The macro vision is winning those championships. But the micro vision and what he wants his team to see, finish the play. Finish the job ready checklist. Finish finding the sales numbers and getting those up on the board. Finish getting all the setup right. Finish that, because if you finish that, it's going to push us towards the vision. And that's what it all goes back to, is the vision. The third thing we see in our hero when they become this transformational from just kind of an ordinary, working to live, all that, into this hero, is they become a leader, they become a coach, and the third thing is they begin to do great work. They stop doing average work. They're sick of average work because they realize average work doesn't move the needle. And when they do great work, it does 5 things. Number 1, it generates curiosity. When anybody does great work, it piques my curiosity. I don't care how boring your industry is. When Atlantic Spray Foam does great work, I get jacked and excited. You'd be like, man, it's just spray foam. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I watched TJ and Rachel a year and a half ago at a Christmas party line up a bunch of people in a room that all had Atlantic Spray Foam shirts on, and they systematically walked through and told them what each person meant in their business. And they gave them a bunch of gifts too, which was kind of cool. But it's not spray foam. It's not property management. It's not demolishing buildings. That's just a product. That's a service. But when you do that, you transform somebody's lives. There's a story behind that. When the HVAC person comes to my house to unclog the drain that goes into the pan that was overflowing while my house is under contract, that helps me. He's offered a service to me. And so you stop doing average work. You do work that generates curiosity, that naturally attracts other people. Companies that are pushing towards a vision have have to do less outreach to find employees than companies that are not. Not saying you don't have to do it at all. I'm saying you have to do less because people are naturally curious. I want to work there. I want to be there. Second thing, if you do great work, you become role specific. You're not doing it all yourself. You're not just finding warm bodies with a pulse to show up and handle some processes. You begin to get very role specific. You start having roles. You hire based on roles. The third thing in doing great work is it becomes an encouragement to other people. When you do great work, it encourages people you know who own and run and manage businesses that also do great work. When they see you doing great work, it inspires them to do great work. That's why Jesse's here, because I want to see somebody outside of this community who's doing great work, so it motivates us to do great work. There's also an accountability to that. I'm not going to feel comfortable if you do great work for me not to be accountable to you. If you're doing great work and you ask me to do something for you, you just ramped up the accountability. If you're doing average work and you ask me to do something for you, well, I kind of averagely don't care. So it promotes accountability. And then finally, it's very, very targeted. You become not all things to all people. You become your service to your people. You stop serving in what I was telling you about with Care Africa. You stop serving everybody who has need, because guess what? Everybody has needs. And you start serving the exact people. All of you in the last 12 months have taken on bad customers. I've seen it. You've told me. That's why I know. All of you in the last 12 months have taken on bad customers, and if I asked you for one of them right now, you'd have their head pop in the center of your brain. You know exactly who they are. And for some of you, I can tell you their names because you've griped to me about them. And that's fine. That's what I'm, half the time I play counselor anyway. So gripe all you want about them. That's fine. But when we think about those people, when you come down to it, when you go back to it, did you take on that client because they were a fit, or did you take on that client because of fear? I've done it too. But when you do great work, you start to make less decisions based on fear and more decisions based on fit, mission, values. I'm watching some of you laugh because I know the exact stories that you're thinking about right now in this one area. When you do great work, it begins to push that out. You become in demand, and you no longer have competitors. There are other people who do what you do. They're just not competitors because they don't do it how you do it. So when this transition happens from hero, or from ordinary person to hero, they go from this haphazard way of feeling this perceived comfort that's not reality, by the way, and they move into a mindset of leadership, a mindset of coaching, and a mindset of doing great work. All right, let's take 5 more minutes to answer this question. Circle up and answer this question among your team. Write one thing down on a post-it note that you're done, and answer to this. What does it look like specifically, both in your attitudes and your actions, to lead, to coach, and to do great work in your business every day? You may only be able to pick one of those. If you're going to pick one of those, what I would prefer you pick is the coaching part. What does it look like for you to be intentional in how you coach the people who work around you? I want specifics. What are some specific things, and particularly one specific thing that you can do to coach people to do great work?
I hope that was helpful. Make sure to check out the other episodes of this podcast series within the Business on Purpose podcast, focused on heroic leadership. We need you to lead. So what's your one big takeaway? Why? Because we need you to lead. Hey, we're here serving people just like you, small business owners, liberating you from your chaos. Let us know how we can serve you at the Business on Purpose platform. Head on over to mybusinessonpurpose.com or 4stepstobusinessfreedom.com, all spelled out, and we'll see you there.